Yeah. In the last session, we have seen how to use subprocess and how to call a linked process. But while creating a linked process, we can also see something like which is very different called when I am calling like a BPD from test BPD, assuming that test BPD is my BPD. Okay, it's taking a lot of time. Okay, from test BPD, no, like I'm calling like other BPD using linked process. So actually, in our projects, no, we used the sub process as well as linked process. But I can also see something called as dynamic sub process here. See here, this is my linked process. If I select this linked process, if I am going to the implementation tab, here I can see something called as process behavior. So in the process behavior, I can see something called as dynamic subprocess. Dynamic subprocess. Okay, it's not a subprocess actually, it's a linked process. Dynamically we can call here, statically I am calling test bpd2, and that means every time it will call test bpd2 only. Okay, every time it will call test bpd2 only. So dynamic subprocess means like I am just, for our convenience sake, I am just naming a bpd with like dynamic link process, and I will show you like how dynamically it will link. Actually I subprocess linked process I worked in the project, but dynamics this one no, like we never use this concept actually, but I did a POC okay, it's working fine. So like we can discuss like how this dynamic sub process or what our name dynamic linked process will work. So for that I am taking one more BPD, test BPD3. Okay, test BPD3. So here I am drag and dropping an activity. Here I'm drag and dropping an activity with three. Okay, I'm drag and dropping an activity. Now what is my intention is like I'm having like three BPDs, test BPD1, test BPD2, test BPD. Okay, I want to like call the randomly like different BPD based on some condition. So I'm taking a new business process definition, dynamic link process. So in this dynamic linked process now, just I'm drag and dropping a script. Okay, here I am deciding the process. Decide the process which is to be called, and then call the BPD. Okay. Just I'm selecting this decide the process, and I'm going to the implementation. I'm going to the I'm using script. Okay. Okay. So here I'm writing some script. Here I'm writing some script. So for our convenience, how I'm going is like I'm taking private variables, private variable A, private variable B, and private variable C. Okay. So A value I'm giving as 10, B value 20, and C value is 30. A value is 10, B value 20, and C value 30. Now, in the script, I'm writing some condition like tw dot local dot a if so I'm checking like I have the values like means from the my external system or some other service no like I'm receiving some values to this BPD. So I'm receiving A B C for the three variables. I'm receiving the values. So at any point of time I don't know like what values I may receive, like I may receive A equal to B, A value and B value are same, or A is greater than B, or A is less than B. So for the three conditions like I am writing here, first one I am taking for A is less than B. Okay. So how to write in Teamworks? tw dot local dot A less than tw dot local dot B. Okay. So if A is less than B, I want to call a BPD number 1. If A is less than B, I want to call test BPD 1. Okay. So for like calling test BPD 1, like I'm taking one more private variable, maybe like name of the private variable is call BPD. Okay. So here I am writing tw dot local dot call BPD equal to which BPD you want to call. If A is less than B, which BPD you want to call. Here you have to write the BPD name. So I'm just writing the BPD name here. I'm just hard coding this. Like in general, you can go with like using with some EPV values or resource bundle, whatever you want. You know, like how to create an EPV, how to create a resource bundle, and how can you use it also, you know. But it is like in BPD I'm writing no. So in the BPD you don't have like to link directly to the resource bundle. So you can use EPV and you can use it. So as per my convenience, I'm just like copying this one. So clicking on rename, just copying. Why? Because even if I use some space and all, no, it won't detect. Okay, test BPD 1. So here I am writing in the script log local dot call BPD equal to some test BPD 1. Yeah, this one. Now next one. If A is equal to B, if A is equal to B, A is less than B, we are calling test PPT 1. Fine. If A equal to B, I am just calling test PPT 2. A equal to B, I am just calling test PPT 2. Next, if A is if A is greater than B, then you want to call test PPT 3. A is greater than B, okay. Test PPT. Ensure the correct like names. No, just I'm copying. Okay. Now I have written the conditions here. If A is less than B, A equal to B, then what happens like if A greater than which BPD to be called. So whatever the BPD name, who is holding the BPD name? Which BPD to call? The variable called as call BPD is holding the BPD name. The variable called as call BPD is holding the BPD name. So if I select this like linked process now, call BPD, so I'm just making this to linked process. I just selected the link process. In the link process, you have to like select some dummy BPD. Either you want to like select test BPD or test BPD 1, 2, 3. You have to select some BPD, and otherwise you can't see this process behavior section. Whatever the BPD you have selected, that is of like no use actually. Like why? Because based upon the condition you are passing. Okay, this is static way. This is already you know, but we are following now dynamic way. So in order to follow the dynamic way, what you are doing, like in this dynamic sub process you are mapping the variable name with call bpd. What that call bpd contains? Call bpd contains name of the bpd which you are going to call based upon the condition. Okay, so first one, okay, I have taken value c. Also c is not required, so just I'm removing. Okay, now if A, B are there, so A value 10, B value 20. That means A is less than B. A is less than B means which BPD he has to call? Test BPD 1, you have to call test BPD 1. Okay, I'm just, as a best practices, I'm just removing the auto tracking. So I'm just running our BPD. So as per our logic, test BPD 1 should be called. Okay, okay, fine. Here I can see, no. See here, like which is called step 1. If I go inside this, what is the PP? See here, what is the name of the BPD which is called? BPD 1. Okay, so just removing this one. Let me show you again. Dynamic linked process. I'm just running this. When I run this, an instance is generated. If I double click here, see here which BPD has been called? Test BPD 1. Once I will get executed, no? Once I am executing, no, like it will run. Once I am executing, it will run. Fine. Now, see here, once I got executed, it will be completed. Got it. Since got completed. Next, let me change the values. So, for example, we are receiving like A equivalent to B. A value and B value 20 I have provided. As per our logic, which BPD has to call? A is A equal to B. Test BPD 2 has to be called. Let's check. Oh, see here. This which BPD has been called? If I double click here, test BPD 2 is called. Okay. When I run this test BPD 2, it will get completed. Okay. Now this time I will provide like A is greater than B. A value I will put 30, B value is 20. So as per our logic, test VPD 3 has to be called. Let's see like how this will be called. See here which VPD has been called. Which VPD is called? Step 3. Test VPD 3 has been called. Okay, test VPD 3 has been called. So you can double click on here in order to like see the VPD. Or else you can do one thing. You can like whenever token is generated, no? Whenever token is generated, you can see the token like in that like calling process. In that calling process, you can see the token like this. You can just double click on here to inside like on under which token this is available. Okay, test VPD 3 has been called. So already like I clicked on run button, but I did not work on this. So to whom the it got assigned? So it got assigned to owner Devi. So earlier it is assigned to group. Now it is assigned only to the Devi. So only Devi can run this. So that's why it did not ask me this time to check the like users. Okay, this is like randomly like you can call multiple VPDs depending upon the condition, depending upon the variables values you receive. Okay, here at this point of time, I want to say you like one more small concept. Like whenever you are working in your projects in your organization, okay, you are running something like this, and it is assigned to all users. You don't know the like in the it is assigned to some so and so group. For example, employee group or manager group or so and so group it got assigned, but you don't know the passwords of the users which are present in that group. You want to assign it to your id. You want to assign it to your id. So how to assign it to your id? Okay, you are not a part of the group, but you can forcibly you are doing in development. You are doing in development, like that means like but your own like you can like forcibly assign it to yourself. So how can you assign it to yourself forcibly? So if you are in the runtime box, that is different. You can assign to the who the one of the user of the particular group, whatever the group might be. For example, in this like it is assigned to like all users. Assume that it is assigned to some group, you are not a part of that group. So you can forcibly assign by writing some script here in the execution evaluator. So what you can write here like some API is there, w dot system dot. If I click on F, I can see find a task by ID. If I select this, I can see the task ID. What is the task ID? 3308. Find a task by ID dot reassign to. Dot reassign to. Here I can reassign to like whomever the variable, whomever the owner. So there is a user called as Sudeep. So I'm just reassigning to Sudeep. I'm just reassigning to Sudeep. I'm just putting him in like double quotes. Okay. So what is the API? TW dot. If I double click on this, it will highlight TW dot system dot find task by ID reassigned to some Sudeep. Okay, fine. So after writing this, it got disabled for me. Sometimes it will happen. Like it is, we can make this no like mm, yeah. Now it got now see here. When I click on this, it will return me the result null. It's not like it's returning null. It got reassigned. So when I click on refresh, I can see who is the owner. Sudeep is the owner. Okay, you logged in with Sudeep, for example. You know the password of Sudeep. Then you can directly run this. Okay. You want to assign it to like I logged in here as some user Devi. So I'm just running this. So now it is assigned to Devi. It won't ask me for password. It will directly run. Why? Because it is not already assigned to like user Devi. So directly I can run this.
Jagdish,
Yes.
can we do this even after claiming the task? We can't do this, right? Suppose if
What I can
hello,
get you.
see, suppose if one of the users
Okay.
he just claimed the task, but
Okay.
he didn't do that.
Okay.
Still, can we assign forcibly to some other user?
Yeah, we can assign to that is work management that we can implement. But in the process portal for a particular user, if you don't want to like you are having much more workload, there is an option like you can reassign back to the group. You can reassign to some other user ID as well.
No, not, I'm not saying that. See, what you are telling is, suppose if task is assigned to me, I can reassign to someone else, right?
Yeah.
That's not. I'm not assuming that one. Just now we have seen that in execution context we saw something now, right? Assigning it to some other people. Execution evaluator.
Yeah.
See here, what we did, it's assigned to some other people. We don't know the password, so we just reassigning to someone else.
Yes.
Suppose if this is assigned to some user called Vivek, okay?
Okay.
Vivek already claimed the task, but he didn't complete.
Okay.
Can we forcibly reassign it to Vamshi?
Yeah, while implementing the project, we are having something called as assignment section. We are having something called as routing section, so we can implement that. So we can put some team leader group so that the what the team leader will do like if somebody has climbed the task and he went on leave for a long leave, that task has to be completed. So he can reassign it to someone else.
Okay. But from here we can't do that one, right? Like from execution evaluator.
The execution evaluator is for only for process center. Not for the process server. No, when it is deployed, we don't have this box as well.
Correct.
Okay, in the process center you can do to whoever the user you want, you can reassign. That is fine in the process center. But in the process server, I'm saying like you don't have this execution evaluator. So you can do one thing in the process server, you know like this. Uh, you know like this when you know the task ID, you know like how to reassign. No,
Yes.
so I will write a service. I will write a general service. I will write a general service or human service. I will write one service which is using this script. Which is using this script. Here by I will in UI by entering some user ID, it should automatically by entering the task ID, and the user ID that should be passed here. Task ID and user ID. So it should change. So I will expose that service. So if I open the employee, we are not yet discussed this like in future like we are going to discuss this option. So if I go to the overview tab, here I can see I can expose the human services various services. So I will expose some like administrative service or something, uh, so that when I exposed as some startable service or administrative service, whenever the user logged into that console, okay, like what he can do like once running the service, it will ask the user to give the task ID and to give the user ID. On giving the task ID and user ID, it will assign to that particular user. It can reassign to the particular user.
Okay.
Okay, that is one way we can implement that.
Yeah, fine. And one more, Jagdish. Every time we use any general service or human task, we are always using the server script. What is the other option? Server scriptlet something is it? Are we going to use that as well?
Yeah, we are going to use that as well. See here, like when I use some server script, what is the difference you can find? Like when I'm using server script. Here, like I can declare like multiple variables, or for all the multiple variables, I can assign values here, right?
Yes.
If I am having A, B, C, like I can assign values to A, B, C as well, fine. But if I use
Yes.
some scriptlet, no, if I use some
Mm-hmm.
scriptlet will expect some binding here. So if I assign it to some variable called as some schema, here I can write whatever the thing I have written here, it will be assigned mapped to only to this variable. That means like here for multiple variables I can't write. That is binded to one variable. So for one variable only, like I will write this.
Okay. It returns only one that binding whatever we selected.
Yeah, for only that it holds only the value for schema only. Generally, we will use something like we have like some XML data you are receiving instead of like assigning to some XML value. Here, whatever the XML is there, you are just copying that XML and you are binding with some XML variable, or like you are working with some DB integration. In one scriptlet, you want to write only SQL query, so you can map with the variable name SQL, and here you can write the query.
Okay. Jagdish, after ending of all sessions, can we see one real-time example like that is not included as per this one, but would you mind showing that one real-time example to us?
Yeah, fine. Like whatever the things we are discussing, like all are real time only. Like finally, like I am going to give you the one project called some real time project. You have to implement that project, but it is not a
Yeah, sure.
part of the training. But you have to implement that by your own. Like if anything, like you find no, like by mail communications, like if anything, I will provide you the design document, I will provide you the user stories, I will provide you the LDM and all. So by your own, you have to like you are the administrator, you are the DBA, you are the BPM developer, so everything you have to do it on your own on your system.
Yeah, sure. So generally, are we going to get any, see, real-time example? I'm sorry for deviating topic, just I'm curious about this thing. Uh, in BA, does he provides any artifacts like Vista, XSDs and all before we start this one? Or generally everything we'll be creating by ourselves in BPM?
In BPM, like you will be providing a design document initially.
Okay,
Like it is depends upon the organizations actually. So like how the organization structure will be there. In some organizations, like a BA will generally like he will prepare the some user stories. User stories are very
okay,
high level. In some organization, what they will do, like based upon the user stories only, developers will try to understand and they will start developing the process. Or they like if the user used some BlueWorks Live, for example, they will go to the SharePoint location, so they will try to understand the process developers has to do. In some organizations, like there will be one more point of contact called designer will be there. The user stories is something like high level document, so he will convert that all the high level into like low level. So he will design everything, like he will show completely like so what we did know, like he will show like this. He won't write logic anything inside this. He will just model the process, everything. He will take a screenshots and he will put it everything in the design document. He will also say like what type of BO you have to take, in that what type of variables it should be, what should be the type as well. So based upon the design document, you have to implement that project.
okay,
Okay,
yeah,
it is depending upon the organization, like it may vary.
yeah, correct. Yeah, fine, Jagdish.
Yeah. Uh, okay. Till we have like 20 minutes of time. The next concept is very important actually. That is UCA concept. People will say like this is the one in the components of the BPM. This is the heart of BPM. Like when UCA, like definitely like each and every project will use the UCA. So we'll discuss about that UCA in tomorrow's session. So from the above, I can see like one pending option, like changing the EPV value from code. Let me try this. How to change the EPV value from code. Earlier we changed the EPV value. Earlier we changed the EPV value from like admin console. So there is something like API is there, TW dot system dot tw dot epv dot my process constants dot interest rate dot, okay, it's not coming. So here there is something called as update. Okay, in this update, like it's returning nothing. uh, okay, okay, this I will explain in the coming session. There will be one syntax will be there. So this will expect two things. One is like the value of an EPV. Yeah, one is like value of an EPV. Second one is uh, like the scheduling time. One is the value of the VPV. Second one is like scheduling time. That means at from what time the value should be changed. Actually, like we are not using this update. So interest rate dot we are writing here as update. We are writing here as update. So update like of course it is showing like this is unknown variable. This will work here. Like initially interest rate I am going to change it to 20. Okay, fine, comma. So here like I can specify like from what time this value should be changed. From what time this value should be changed. So I'm just taking a date here. Add private variable date. Add private variable some date. I'm just like taking it as default date. That means today's date. That means when I run this, I'm expecting like it should affect. So okay, okay, interest rate. Okay, now the value is first time the value is 9. Okay, it got ended. Fine. So again I am running. I hope like uh, I appended the date no like with today's date today's time. I hope like it will work, and again like what I am doing like again I am running. So here it is saying 2016, the month is 0, date is 10. Why it is showing like month is 0? See this time what is the value I got? 20 I got. What is the value I got? 20 I got. So why I got the 20 value? So like it got updated. So BPM once it will system will take the BPM once from like normal calendar we will be having like January to December. Like we will take consider as 1 to 12, January as 1, 12 as December. But BPM calendar no, BPM will consider it as like January as 0 and December as like 11. BPM internally it will think like January as 0, December as 11. Okay, while working with like such types, like no need of like worrying about that. But something you want to retrieve and you want to show it to the UI, show it to the user, the date user don't understand. For example, you are retrieving some November month and you are showing like user can see like October date. That's why like you have to like append that month plus one while you are working with the retrieve. Now it is fine. So let me open like admin console for you. Let me open the admin console for you. So like what I will do like I'm just duplicating. Okay, fine. Let me open the admin console for you, so that in the admin console I can see the value got updated, who is updating the value also I can see there. Process admin console. If I go to like manage EPVs, what is our name? My new year process. Main is our track. Tip is the default snapshot. Okay. Here I can't see any EPVs. Here I can't see any EPVs. Why I can't see the any EPVs? Okay, it is not exposed to Devi, might be. So generally it will be exposed to administrators. Let me log in with admin. Whenever you are creating an EPV, you are exposing it to administrator. My new year process. Yeah, admin can see my process. So interest rate, if we select interest rate, you can see here. Who has changed the interest rate recently to 20? On Jan 10th. Jan 10th means today at 6:45. The value got changed to 20. Who has modified this? Devi has modified this. So like how this got affected, whatever the code you have written, no, like whatever the code you have written here, whatever the script you have kept it here. So try to like use this script whenever it is required. What this script will do? What this script will do? This script will like no need or like till now like what we thought, okay, EPV value means it should be updated only by the administrator, for example. Okay, so I am writing a code here. I am writing a code here. I am exposing this code only to like higher official, some manager or something is there. Yeah, in the process portal I will expose so that whenever he want to like change the value of an EPV, no need of contacting the administrator. He can like select the two values. What is the value, from what date and time, he can select that, and he can like when he clicked on run, automatically this got affected. So this time what I am doing is like I am just changing this value to 50. I am just changing this value to 50. I logged in with a user called as Devi, so I changed the EP value to 50. So just I am running this. Okay, just I'm running this. I hope this got affected. I hope this got affected. So what I'm doing is like this time I'm just commenting this one. I'm just enabling this one. So to check whether it got affected or not. Earlier it is 20. Now I hope like it went to like 50. See what is the value of interest rate now? 50. So it got changed. It got changed. If I go to the process admin console, okay, just trying to refresh this. I'm just getting our in the EPV. My new year process. One second, let me log out and log in. Log in as admin. Going to the admin tools, manage EPV. So I am selecting our process, my new year process, main command tip. So here I am selecting the EPV value. So I can see interest rate is changed to 50. I want to see the history. Who changed the interest rate? So I can see at Jan like the value is 50. Like who has modified this? Devi has modified this. Okay. So she changed the value to 50. Okay, this is like how to change it from a code. Generally how administrator will change, if admin want to like change it to some value 10. So how admin will change? He will click on new. He will click on new. Okay, he will write some reason. As per bank regulations or something. The value is 10. I want to change this the value to 10. Okay, I will put the date 51, 46 also I think it will be completed. Okay, 52 future date I have to put 652. So 652 46 is completed. So like if I run this, if I run in my process what is the value? 50, still not updated. Okay, still not updated. Why? Because the date value is not reached. Yeah, now it got completed. So if I run now, what is the value? It should show me 10. Yeah, it is showing 10. So got it, Vamsi, like how the EP value like changing. I showed you like two ways as well. Again, I showed you like how administrator is going to change this. So you can change it in two ways. Like you can change it via code. You can change it like from the administrator perspective. You can change it.
Okay. But generally, you told you will expose this to this one, right? Like how we'll do it in a human task and we'll just expose this UA and we'll take that value, right?
Yeah, you can like create some human task. In that human task, you are taking two values. One is like what is the value of the EPV, and second one is like from which date. So you are allowing the user to like select a date and select a value. So on clicking on the submit, like it is going to service will get finished, but on the effective date, whatever he said, like the EPV value is getting changed.
Okay.
Okay, this is like one way like you can like update the EPV value. Okay. See here, like
Um,
here, this update function is not there. That's why it is showing unknown variable. Generally, people like don't know this function actually. Why? Because after putting interest rate, if I click on like control space, I'm not getting anything. But this function is there. Internally, like we will support this function, update function.
okay. Nitish, can you show that execution this one? I just want to know the syntax.
Yeah, fine.
Execution evaluator.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is the syntax.
1 second.
For tw dot system dot find task by ID, you are finding the task by ID, and you are reassigning it to some other like user.
Okay, fine. No semicolon.
Yeah, semicolon if you give only single statement, no. If you don't give also like it will. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hope like we covered all, no. Like we completed 12 sessions totally. I hope
Yes.
like in the as per the course content we covered each and everything.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. From tomorrow, like we can discuss about very important concept that is UCA. I hope like this won't be completed in one session. Like anyway, like we'll go in like much more deep. What is UCA? How does it will work? So this is like very important concept. We can see this is how it will work tomorrow. Generally, like outline like what where this UCA will be useful. Like whenever like, your external system is sending some message, these messages will be stored in BPM queue. From the BPM queue, your BPD has to receive that messages and process. Your BPD has to run. So how whenever the message is posted in the queue, how your BPD will react? How BPD will know like message has been posted? So there is a concept called as UCA is there that is listening to the queue actually. So we can configure the UCS. So like whenever you are configuring the UCS, like you will be having something called as message events here. So instead of like start event, you will use some message events. So whenever it is message event, it is expect some UCA. So that we can discuss it in tomorrow session. Tomorrow at the same time. Okay.
So you're telling queue, right? They'll explicitly post it to the BPM queue. I mean, queues will be creating, and we'll ask external user to post. Something in queue. Is it?
No, like whenever whenever some message is posted in the queue, like whatever the UCA associated with it, just keep on listening to the queue. Whenever the
Yeah,
appropriate
that.
message has been posted, it will get triggered. When it
Yeah.
get triggered, like that message will be reached to your whatever the process you have given.
No, that's fine, Jagdish. What I'm asking is, you are telling from queue will be that UC will listen, right?
Yes.
So somebody should post it to the queue explicitly, or internally it will take that queue. Like suppose if I want to send some data to BPD, I'm external user.
Okay.
Should I post it to the BPM queue? We'll create the queue and we'll ask users, external users to post in the queue. Is it something like that?
Yeah, like you have to you have to use the existing queues, or you have to like ask your VAS team to create a connection factory to establish a queue connection factory. So whenever like users post that message in the queue, like your UCA will listen to that. So as our concepts, how we will think, like we will think like some user has posted some message, we will only provide that message, and we will assume that okay, message provided by the user is this one, and we will try to like process it.
Suppose if I expose, see, if I expose as a queue, then okay. If I want to send some data SOAP messages or HTTP, then also, how should I post it in MQ? Queue I won't post, right?
Whenever you are using something like these protocols, like you can ask like third party system, like some visual URL, and you can communicate with that using web service integration.
That time no queue concept, right?
No
Like
queue
from
concept.
where then usually will listen.
No queue concept is there in that way. Like whenever there is like someone is like posting, like they are not exposing as visitor, like trying to like post it in the queue, there is different concept. This is queue concept. This is interacting whenever like somebody has posted in the queue. That is like visitor is something like whenever they has provided some visitor URL, you can by request, by sending some request, it will give you the appropriate response.
So that time we will not create UC at all, right?
You are not get UC at all. That is different type of integration. That is web service integration.
So in web service integration we won't get UCS, right?
You won't get UCS.
Okay.
Okay. Internally, like you can make it like UCA to configure. That is different thing. But in the high level end, what we can say like UCA will not come into the picture. That is different type of integration.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, Vamsi. We'll meet in like a tomorrow session at the same time. So we can start
Thanks,
like
Javi.
the concept of UCA.
Yeah, sure, sure. Thanks. You recorded this session, right?
Yeah, I recorded this session.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks, Vamsi.